Hey everybody, welcome to another JBoz Gaming video. This is your host JBoz, and today in this video we're going to talk about how we earn XP. In other videos I've talked about the different types of XP. There is tank XP, there is crew XP, and then there is what's called free XP, which is basically a conversion, if you will, of your tank XP or your commander XP, and can be used on researching new tanks and or uh, gaining new skill for your crew or commander. So, and I use crew and commander interchangeably. It's the same thing. It's your commander. Um, so, also in the post battle screen, you'll see people, people have earned a certain amount of XP. You'll also be able to get your breakdown of XP earned during the battle. But this video is more about what do we earn, or what do we do in battle that specifically earns XP. Obviously, we go into battle, we do some things, we come out and we have some XP, but we don't know, like specifically yet, how we acquired that XP. And this XP that we're talking about is tank XP specifically. Commander XP is just kind of a derivative of the amount that your tank has earned. So in some ways, these actions that you do in battle drive all XP earned. So let's get into this. I have for us today pulled up the World of Tanks console website, and on that, under support, there is an article that talks about this, but I wanted to highlight it in a video because, as you can see, it's buried somewhere on World of Tanks website, and that is not a good way to teach people how to play the game. So here we go. How to earn XP. So the following actions will result in earned experience during a battle. You will not receive experience, and will also highlight what you will not receive experience for. So let's address the first section. The first section is how we actually earn XP. So the number one way we earn XP is by doing damage to enemy tanks. Okay, straight up. The second way is how, whether we do critical damage to enemy tanks. And what is also factored in here is the difference between your tier and their tier. So you get more XP if you're a lower tier tank doing critical damage to a higher tier tank. And that's how you might be a lower tier but be able to score better in matches where you're tiered up. Is though you didn't do as much damage as some folks, you still done some damage to higher tier tanks, and that's earned you some XP. Number three, spotting an enemy tank on the radar. So anytime you spot an enemy tank, that's some XP, and you will actually see a lot of this XP being added as you go if you have additional uh, stats turned on, and I talk about that in another video, how to do that. It's under settings, so look that up. But having those values, it's accumulating up in that right-hand corner, and there'll be things popping up like plus 2 XP because you spotted a tank, or plus, so many XP because you shot a tank, or whatever. You'll start to see those kind of accumulate as you're fighting. Now, don't pay too much attention to that. That's distracting and will keep your eyes from the actual fight. But in general, you'll notice that, and that's what it's doing is kind of tallying these things that we're going through here. You will get more XP for discovering an artillery than you do for a regular tank. So spotting an arty gives you a little extra XP. The spotting, you don't have to kill the arty, and it's really no more experience to kill an arty than it is any other tank. With spotting, you get a little extra XP. Damage your allies caused to a tank you have spotted. This is referred to as, and I'm going to kind of do a whole separate video on assisted damage, but this is referred to as spotting damage or assisted damage in general. Assisted damage is both spotting damage and track damage, and both of these situations are where you've spotted a tank or tracked that tank and your allies are doing damage to it. in the time period that it's either spotted or the time period that it's either tracked. And that kind of culminates into what is assisted damage. So you do get damage, assisted damage, when your allies cause damage to tanks you've spotted. Both experience is awarded for capturing the enemy base. Or sorry, both. I said both. Bonus experience is awarded for capturing the enemy base. This experience, though, let me preference this with this. Don't think this adds up to a lot. In general, it is better to get and kill all enemy tanks and get the maximum damage you can in a battle. That will result in higher experience totals than capping the base out. And I'm going to do a video on when to cap and when not to cap, how to control the cap, how to uncap people that are trying to capture your cap, everything about a cap that you want to know. So we'll get into that in a different video. But just know that you do get a little extra experience for capturing an enemy base. This experience is given only to the tanks in the enemy base circle, not the whole team, and is proportional to the time each tank spent in the enemy base circle. So that means if you got there right at the end, you're going to get very, very little experience. Also, only the first three people that enter the cap or capture the base get any kind of experience and actually reduce the time it takes to capture the base. The fourth and beyond adds no time reduction and you do not get experience. So these times where you see 7 people on the cap, 8 people on the cap capturing the base, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Those other people would be best getting off the cap and protecting or defending their allies that are capping and preventing the enemy team from coming back and trying to uncap allies that are actually on the cap. So just know that that is true. You do get experience, but it is limited to the first 3. Bonus experience is awarded for restarting the capture counter by damaging an enemy tank, which is capturing your base, also known as uncapping the enemy. So you get experience. Again, not a lot of experience, but it's really not about experience at that point. It's really trying to prevent them from winning the game. And there's ways to do that, and there's some tips and tricks on how to do that that I'll do in a future video. Number 6, bonus experience is awarded for restarting the capture counter by damaging... Oh, I already read that one. I'm sorry. Number 7, bonus experience is awarded for being alive at the end of a match. So you do get some experience for survival, though this should not outweigh your willingness to get into the fight and actually help win the battle. Don't just go hide somewhere and get a little bit of experience. You'll get very little experience. And you get much, much more experience trying to get into the fight, doing damage, spotting people, and so on than you ever will just surviving the battle. All people die, and you eventually will die if you go and hide because they'll kill your teammates and they'll come and hunt you down and kill you too. It's more likely that you'll survive the battle by actually being proactive and taking the fight to them. And I don't mean always attacking. I just mean participate in the battle. Don't go and hide. The more your team damages the enemy... Okay. The more your team damages the enemy team, the more experience you will get. And again, this is what I'm talking about. By doing more damage, you get more experience. If you win the battle, you get more experience than you do if you lose the battle. So just know that. In fact, that's number 9. Bonus experience is also given to the winning team, 50% to each tank on the team. That matters a great deal. The difference between winning and losing is huge in World of Tanks. You make a lot of progress when you win. You make very little progress when you lose. So help your team win. Get better at tanks. Help your team win more games. That matters. Your winning percentage matters more than your survival percentage. Okay? I'm just going to throw that out there and flatly state it. What you will not receive experience for in World of Tanks is damaging an ally's tank, pushing, etc. If you shove him off a cliff and he loses all of his hit points and dies, you get no experience for that. In fact, you get penalized for that, potentially, depending on what you're doing in the game. You might even turn blue, which then blue or a special color, which then allows other people to on your team to shoot at you and kill you. So don't damage or purposely hurt your allies. It's not a benefit to you. You might think it's funny and cool, but you're actually preventing people from actually playing the game as it was intended to play, and that is with you being a part of the team and not against the team because you're on that team. All right, you will not get experience for ricochets or no penetration shots on enemy vehicles. So you got to pin to get the reward of experience, right? For you also don't receive experience for just taking damage. So going out in the middle of the battle and letting them shoot you doesn't get you any experience. So in general, those are the things that Wargaming has stated up front. You get in a battle for as far as experience goes. Now, I'm sure it's more complicated than that, and there's more detail behind this. But that's what Wargaming has officially stated you get experience for. So just knowing that, what I would like to highlight is the biggest differentiators here are doing damage, which we've talked about. Just do your hit points of damage in your tank. Participate in actually helping your team win. So doing damage will get you experience, and also when your team wins, that's a 50% bonus. Those two things will make up the bulk of the experience that you get in your tank. So, and when I say damage, I also mean assisted damage. So it's direct damage and assisted damage. That's referred to as combined damage. So I'll use that term. Combined damage and also winning the game gets you the most experience you can achieve in a particular battle. And just those two things alone are probably what you can focus on in order to maximize that experience that you're getting out of each battle. All right, as always, if I've missed something or if you want me to state something more about in-game battle experience, let me know. I love the feedback. Give me a comment. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button. I always ask if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. And if you want, hit that bell so you can get notification when I post a new video. Thanks again for your time. Best of luck on the battlefield. We'll see you in the next one.